Football Recap Live is brought to you by Feldco. For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866-4FELDCO, Chicago's home renewal experts. Your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers, the official truck partner of the Chicago Bears. Hooters. At Hooters, originality isn't just one thing, it's everything. World-famous wings and more, served up by the iconic Hooters girl. Hooters, always original. Dr. Pepper, an American original, just like our Chicago Bears. Grab an ice-cold, refreshing Dr. Pepper today at a McDonald's near you. Special Olympics Illinois. Special Olympics Illinois, so I did. Learn more at SOILL.org. Take that. Into Feldco Football Recap Live here at Hooters in Melrose Park. That's the great Tom Waddle, the great Alex Brown. I'm David Kaplan. This is the beautiful Alon. She is one of the Hooters girls here. She's got some of their great wings. She'll be back at the bottom of the hour to tell us about some awesome football, playoff, and Super Bowl specials. Thank you, Alon.
Yes.
Alex, there's your dinner for you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, let's get into the Bears 24-22 victory over the Green Bay Packers.
Let's go!
Crazy. It's our four-season heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric game recap. We're not going to linger on the game because they finished 5-12. We have press conference to talk about from today. Not a good day for the Bears. And let's get into the
I think
victory.
Alex wants to talk about the Bears beating the Green Bay Packers for the
I'm
first
sorry.
time
If we had
since
lost,
2018.
he would spend 15 minutes on it. Give me 2 minutes.
I'm going to.
Give me 2 minutes of this.
It was a dramatic come-from-behind
Yes.
win. Almost gave it away when DJ Moore fumbled. Was in an RPO. They shouldn't have thrown the pass, but guess what? DJ shouldn't have fumbled either.
Correct.
But your guys' thoughts on finally snapping a 10-game losing streak, an 11-game losing streak to the Packers. Matt LaFleur gets his first loss against Chicago. Bears win.
I've been clamoring for them to come out regardless of their record and the fact that there was nothing for them to play for in terms of a postseason berth. I've been asking for them to play hard and come out and treat all of these games like they're the most important game on the schedule.
They did.
And for guys to, and there were some folks out there that didn't want to. I think you may have been one of those folks that didn't want to see Caleb play because there wasn't a whole lot to play for.
No. I said if I can't protect him, don't put him out there.
Well, they haven't been able to protect him all year.
Once we're going to Green Bay,
Yeah.
let's
Well,
it's a good learning experience.
Yes, and I think what you saw on that final drive shows you why every time you step out there, it's an opportunity to get better and to learn and to gain the experience. So I tip my cap to them. I was critical of them when I saw them perform the way they did against the Cardinals or the Patriots or the 49ers. So, to be fair, I've got to credit them when they come out there in that situation going on the road and played hard and came away with a win.
Alex, we don't want to get in the way of your win.
I'm going to jump all over these right here in 1 second, but I understand where they're at. I remember in 2004, I believe it was, we were awful. And that last game of the season, we're not going to the playoffs. And we had, I think it was Houston that we had to play.
Is that your rookie year?
No. My rookie year, 2002. We were in Champaign all the games. But, like, this game, it was so cold. You don't really want to be there and to muster up the energy. And I know, I get it, y'all. Like, you get a chance to play a game you love, but we're still human, too. So, at the end of the year, everybody's beat up. Everybody has you can come up with a million reasons why you shouldn't be up for this game.
Right.
Like it's just, okay, it's a long season. We've been getting our head beat in all year. Nobody really thinks we're going to win. It's just anything. And they found a way to win. And then at the end of the game, not just giving up when the lead got snatched from them. They actually went back and they took the lead and they did something like snapped the losing streak to the Packers and actually gave Chicago, in my opinion, something to be excited about throughout this whole offseason. Because if you lose that game, I mean, it just seems dim and gloomy for the spring and summer through training camp. But, I mean, I thought it was a fun moment, and I was very, very happy to see him pull off the win.
You know, there was a kid that had struggled this year, and a lot of it was based on his own doing. But Tyreek Stevenson had a really difficult season. Again, a lot of it was self-imposed. But Tyreek Stevenson came out there and played hard. I mean, he was hitting guys the entire game, and I just thought it was symbolic of what was important for him and everybody. You know, Alex.
Yep.
I mean, even if you've got a contract, you're part of their long-term plans. When you have a season like this, everybody's being evaluated.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it was nice to see them go up to Green Bay. And for Caleb as well, like I said, there's still things for him to learn. It was his first experience going to Lambeau. So I was very happy to see them come away with a victory, albeit in a season that was uber frustrating and disappointing.
We saw it all year. We saw Caleb all season put the Bears in position to win at the end of games, put the Bears in position during half or just before the half to score points. He did it over and over and over again, and it was just fitting that he was given the opportunity to do it against Green Bay last game of the season, and he did it again, and we won the game.
You know, it's interesting, too, as we segue into the basketball season. Sometimes when you get there, you finally, just to kind of, the confirmation is you got to see the ball go through the hoop.
Yeah.
And he had gotten to the rim, but they hadn't seen the ball go through the hoop in crunch time, and they saw the culmination of a hard-fought game. So I was glad to see it.
How many sacks do you think you had in 04?
04? Oh,
Yeah.
man.
And how many games did you start
hold
out
up.
of the 16?
Every game. 04, I started every game.
You did.
I know I had 4 sacks against the Giants, so I'm going to say I had 6.5.
6.
6? Okay.
And how many tackles for loss?
You had 6
11.
sacks in the game?
I had 4 sacks in the game. Yeah,
but
in the
only
game.
6 for the whole season. What were you doing?
They were triple teaming me the rest of the year.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Listen. Great pass rushers, it's not always seen in sacks. He probably had 1,000 pressures.
I definitely did. I definitely had
How many tackles for loss?
11.
10.
10?
Pretty good. And how many forced fumbles?
Ask him how many.
Okay, I'm not like this, like self-centered. Okay, this is what Cap is trying to do. He's trying to make it seem like I remember my stats. I kind of remember a little bit of them.
When you ring the doorbell at your house, it's an Alex Brown highlight.
I'll
had
say
3 forced fumbles
3 forced
and a
fumbles.
fumble recovery
And a pick?
6 sacks.
I have an interception?
You
Yes,
did
I
not
did.
have a pick.
No?
No.
Really?
Lance did. He took one back 38 yards for a touchdown.
I was slacking that year. Yeah.
Yep. Leading sacker on the team, though.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah, that happened a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't even a question.
So, all right. So let's playing in Green Bay. My wife and I went there for the first time last year. I had never been to Lambeau. It was phenomenal. People are great. The stadium is iconic. It's like going to Wrigley Field. It really is. Like Notre Dame Stadium.
Yeah.
I don't like the Irish, but iconic. Wrigley, iconic. This one is spectacular. You two played there multiple times. What is that experience like?
I think it was one of my favorite places to play. I mean, I love playing Soldier
told
Field.
Me yesterday, he said, I've kicked everywhere. I played for the Chiefs for 5 years. Twice in Chicago he's played, 2 different stints. He said, by far, the best stadium I've ever played in is Lambeau.
Well, you can feel the history. I mean, I think you
That's what
can.
he said.
Like if you're, someone that appreciates the history of the game and you know what has transpired in that building over the course of years and years and years. Plus, it was back in the time. Listen, when we were playing, free agency came into effect, I think, in '91. So it's been it's been one of those transient professions over the course of the last several decades where you didn't play your whole career. These days, you don't play your whole career in one city, whereas back in the day, you did. So I think you go back in time and, maybe the rivalry meant more because if you were a member of the Bears, unless you got traded, you were with them for the entirety of your career up into the early 90s. So you realized the importance of the rivalry and you realized, the history attached to that building. I loved it. I mean, the fans were hard, but they were fair. I thought the facility was good. I think that, it was very infrequently when they would actually turn on the hot water in the showers. You would always find yourself with a cold shower after a game.
Green Bay?
Oh, hell yes. Yeah.
On
They did all
purpose.
kinds
On
of
purpose. On
crazy
purpose.
stuff like
So,
that.
a player who was playing against the Celtics told me, first of all, he said we played them in June in the playoffs at the old Boston Garden.
And no air conditioning?
He said no air conditioning. He said they would turn the heat up in our locker room
Yeah.
to like 100 degrees. He said the showers were ice cold.
Yeah.
And he said it was just, and they painted the walls pink
Yeah.
because a psychologist said, oh, that will keep them from getting.
That was Red
amped
Auerbach
up.
who
That
did
was
all of
Red
that.
Auerbach.
Yeah.
Really?
A psychologist told him, paint the walls light pink,
Yeah.
and they won't come out ready to play. He said
That's
they
crazy.
tried it all.
Yeah.
Wow,
All
that's
right.
crazy.
So Bears win 24-22. Super cool. Beat the Packers.
Yep.
Take that, Green Bay. Love it.
Yes.
As cool as that moment was, and we'll talk about Cairo Santos in a minute, I thought they had an exceptionally bad day today. Poles, Warren, Eberflus, they are a Mickey Mouse operation, and that's being offensive to Mickey Mouse. Sorry, Mickey Mouse. Seriously.
Why? Why? What do they do?
They look like the most unprepared, unserious team I have ever watched. So let me give you an example. Gerard Mayo gets fired Sunday evening. The Crafts get together. We got to make a change. Sorry. It is now 48 hours later. Right now, they've already completed interviews with Pep Hamilton and with Byron Leftwich. They have already gotten the tweet out from the NFL. Says they have completed the Rooney Rule. They are free to hire whoever they want. Guess who's coming in there Thursday morning?
Vrabel?
Mike Vrabel.
Of course.
The Bears fired their coach the day after Thanksgiving. They haven't done one interview. Who's coming in tomorrow?
They're still thanking him.
Mike Vrabel.
They're still thanking the guy they fired 2
We'd
months
like
ago.
to thank Coach Eberflus one more
What?
time.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I
So disorganized. Tommy, you watched it all
the
today.
Patriots know what
I
they
just,
wanted.
the one thing I
They know
would
what they
say
wanted.
is they just don't inspire confidence. They just, in how they do things.
That's what I just said.
You know, and I want to get to the point, I love this team. I will always forever love this team. I want to get to the point where I'm expecting the best, and at this point I'm expecting the worst with every decision that they make, just because of what history has taught us. So, maybe this is the time. Ryan is going to be their general manager. You hope that he'll learn from some of the mistakes he made with coaching and with some of the player evaluation and the player selection. I do think that once you've been in a job for an extended period of time, you do get better over the course of time. So here's hoping that they do a better job hiring the right guy and they do a better job acquiring better talent. But I can't sit here and honestly tell you that I'm filled with optimism, because I just don't think anything that has happened this year has, just left me feeling
Okay.
optimistic about
I
that.
don't-
Alex, I want to
Tell me
read
the
you
player.
some numbers.
Okay.
This is since they fired Lovie Smith, your coach. Okay, since they fired Lovie,
These aren't
with a
gonna be good.
10-6 record, by the way. Mark Trestman 13-19, John Fox 14-34, Matt Nagy 34-31, who I helped usher right out the door. He looks like Vince frickin' Lombardi now. Matt Eberflus 14-32, Thomas Brown 1-4. And I'm supposed to believe that this Mickey Mouse organization, again, sorry Mickey, that they're going to get it right?
Well, yes, you do.
Why?
Because they're not selling it. So they're gonna have to keep trying, and you can't just say, "Well, give up." What do you want them to do? They gotta keep trying. I don't want you to just hold on to something that you know is
I
wrong.
want them to change their shitty process.
Well, I understand that. No, I get that. I
agree
forget
with
the
that.
player. I forget the player who came out after the season was over and said that he was asked, "What if Vrabel gets his job?"
Oh, DeMarcus Walker.
Was it Walker? Okay.
He said he'll
So-
clean up a lot of the BS that goes on around here immediately.
And I was talking to some young men over there, and that's exactly what we need. Why does it take so long to say that's what we need? Because there's a certain stranglehold they still want on making decisions. Vrabel's not putting up with that. He's not putting up with that. He's not. You hire him to do a job, he's going to come in and do the job, period. And there's going to be a lot of things that has to change because the Stevenson walking off the practice field, that won't happen anymore. It won't, or he won't be here.
Correct.
Jalen Johnson at the 2-yard line.
Business decision.
Yeah, ain't no business. The business decision is hitting him in the kneecap. That's the business decision. Stopping him, defending every blade of grass. That is the business decision. And that's not what we're seeing. We're not seeing that from this team, from every player, every single play. And until you get that, you're going to be in a problem. Detroit, there's not a player on that team that will not fight, bite, and scratch for every inch to win a football game. We can't say that about our team. And until we do, we need a leader that we need players that are willing to buy in to a leader like that. Because the players can do it, even if the coach doesn't want to do it, right? If the coach is too soft. I've heard that so many times. What do you mean the coach is too? Go play your ass off. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about?
Yes.
Like, you're a professional.
Right, coach
you're
is
paid
harder.
to do a job.
Tommy
Go do your
said
job.
that all the time.
Like, what? Like, why do I need my coach to be harder on me for me to do my job? On Thursday, I get paid, don't I? What am I getting paid for? To do my job. So go do your job.
Yeah, I just don't think bringing in a coach, and I think it's a great idea, and they need to change their culture. I won't deny any of that. But you're not going to change everyone in the building by just having a disciplinarian coach. That also has to be part of the DNA of your players, which I would say to you, you bring in a coach like Mike Vrabel, if that's who it is, it doesn't stop there. They're going to have to weed out some of the guys in that locker room on that team that aren't going to be motivated by Mike Vrabel to be self-motivated guys. Yes. So, that doesn't just cure the entire problem. That may take care of a few of the symptoms, but when you have a group that is constantly talked about needing to be coached harder and we need to be held accountable, you don't need a babysitter. This is the NFL. So a coach may inspire you to do different things, and discipline is needed in that building. But I think it's also a flaw of the roster that you've got so many guys that are bitching and moaning about that. So
I agree.
If it doesn't come from you internally, some guys are not going to be inspired just because somebody's going to come in and treat you, without kid gloves. It's got to come from you internally. For most guys,
It could actually work the opposite way because these kids, they grow up the way they grow up from high school through college. You yell at them, hell, they may shut down. Yeah. Like, you think about it. Think about how college is right now. A kid doesn't win the starting gig, he transfers. Yeah. He just leaves. Yeah. He's just gone.
Coach, I'm going to the portal. See you.
I'm out of here. I thought it was crazy when Nick Saban first left, but the more I actually think about it, Nick is sitting there. He's like, listen, we lose the national championship, and the next day I got the third-string running back asking me for a raise. You didn't have a carry. What are you even doing in my office right now?
That's why Nick walked away from the game.
So he's gone because it is so crazy right now. It's insane. And you have to take into consideration, what kids are we talking about? These kids aren't the same kids, hard-nosed. No, they're growing up a lot different. At 17, they're being courted by schools for hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. So they're already in that mode of money, So once they get here, it is about money. That's it. It's about money and them loving the place or loving where they're at or having that same passion that the fans have because you all grew up here. I'm from Florida, okay? I knew nothing about the Bears outside of Tecmo Bowl. You know what I mean?
I was much better on Tecmo Bowl than I was in reality.
I didn't know anything about the Bears.
I could run like the wind in Tecmo Bowl.
But when I get here, the fans, if you're here long enough, the fans help you understand how important this past week's game was, right? How important it is to play a certain way here in Chicago, right?
So can they ever fix it to the level it was when you and Olin and Tommy Harris and Urlacher and Briggs, all these dudes, can they ever get it back to that level? Like, he goes back a lot farther. Coach Ditka. You played in the 2000 to 2009 range.
Yep.
Can they get it to that?
Well, you got to draft football players.
Do you think the guys in
I think
Detroit
you can.
right now are playing the way that they play? They are.
100%.
As Alex said. I mean, there's guys around the league. There's teams around the league. That's how they play. In Baltimore, they play that way.
Yes.
You know, in Kansas City, they play that way. I don't think this team needs to be coached harder. I think they need to be coached better. Like, I think they need to be instructed on how to do their jobs better. Like, every now and again, we all need a foot in our ass. I mean, we all need to be motivated. But I don't think this was more about, you know, I just kept hearing that. We need to be coached hard. No, you need to be coached
could
better.
Coached better also be coached harder?
I think it could be part of it.
When
but
I have a player tell me that Tyreek Stevenson is late to meetings all the time and nothing is done about it because Eberflus wanted to be
But
like.
Cap, if Tyreek Stevenson wants to be the best player that he can possibly be, having a coach rip your ass or bench you, that's not necessarily going to solve the problem. It's got to come from inside of him. Does he want to be that guy? And you can yell at him all you want, but until he decides he wants to be different, it's not going to change. He's just going to be a guy that sits on the bench and gets yelled at a lot. When you decide you want to be part of the solution and not continue to be part of the problem, then you will make that change.
Or you get rid of that guy.
Yes.
You get rid of that guy and you send a statement, you send something through your team, we're not putting up with this. Now, if you want to do this, you can hit the door with him.
So they were willing to say goodbye to Nate Davis. They should have done it
Before the
6 months
season
ago.
started.
They should have said,
Don't nobody
you
care.
don't practice
Like,
hard, you're out of here.
But don't nobody care about Nate Davis. Nobody cares. Send Jalen Johnson ass away from here. Send him
Yurko
away.
said today.
him away. Then
Yurko
people
said,
will start to
trade
understand.
Jalen Johnson.
Yes.
He's a good, talented cat.
He
You
is.
get draft capital back and get him out of here. He said, what I watched at the goal line is unacceptable.
I can't, I'm with it. I cannot do that. That's not winning. That's not what. I promise you, this kid from, number 32,
Smith?
Branch. No, Branch.
Oh, from
Or
Detroit.
Detroit.
He wears
Ryan
mouthpiece
Branch.
right here.
Yeah.
Some bitch, he gonna knock your head off.
Yeah.
He is not giving you that yard. He's gonna knock your head off. That's who I want. I do not want a guy that's gonna make a business decision at the 1 yard line in the NFC Championship game because, well, I don't want to get hurt. Or no, I want you to lay your body on the line like a guy we used to know. This man right here. He did whatever he could to catch that rock. Going across the middle, he's gonna get knocked out. That's okay. I might as well catch it. I'm gonna get knocked out anyway. It's
true.
He told me,
I might as well catch it.
I said to him one day, dude, how do you catch it? He goes, I dropped one, and my dad said to me, you're going to get hit anyway. That's
Yes.
the damn football.
Correct. It's
Is that
gonna
what he
hurt.
said?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt.
You're
You'll be
going to
fine.
hurt either way.
Either way.
So.
Yes, Mike Brown, does not care about his body. Do the job. That's it, man. It has to mean
But
so
that
much
has
more.
to include the culture that a guy like Dan Campbell and the GM Brad Holmes set.
He can't squeeze that out of players that don't have it in them. So you got to draft the players.
Yes.
You got to draft the players with that in them.
But then you also have to hold them to that standard.
100%. Or get rid of them. I haven't looked back over the last 3 years at what that roster looked like and now what it is now. I'm sure it's been a turnover of guys because you can't come in with a different mentality and not change anybody. Just think about when Lovey first got here in 2004, how different that team. R.W. McQuarters could not make it here with Lovey Smith. It just wasn't going to work. You know what I mean? It just wasn't going to work with them two. It wasn't. And Lovey's a coach, so you got to go. And then other guys got to go. You got to get up out of here because you're not going to do what he's asking you to do. And the people that are willing, if everything kind of goes right, you're going to reap some of the rewards.
And
I just think, Cap, that so much has been laid on the coaches, and they need to be held accountable. There's no doubt about that.
But the players.
Yeah,
have to as well.
I mean, and the group that Ryan Poles has put together, he needs to wear that as well. You can't just look at this roster and say, well, with a better coaching staff and a group that will hold my guys accountable, they're all going to be better. Well, no. It's in their DNA to be who they are. So, I mean, you can improve some of the guys, but I think that, if you bring in a Mike, whoever you bring in, I think you're also going to have to go through this roster with a fine-tooth comb, as they say. And you're going to have to weed out some guys that just aren't who you thought
Who
they were.
may be talented, but don't
Or
have
they
that dog
or
in
maybe
it.
they're not as talented as you thought they were. And I think that's a problem for general managers, especially those that are kind of on the hot seat, as you've invested a lot of time, energy, and resources in guys that you thought were going to be better than they turned out to be. And sometimes you need to just cut and turn and pivot and go the other direction. That's part of the business, is you just have to admit you made some mistakes. Don't just think that a new coach is going to come in and all of a sudden, instead of 5-12, you're 12-5.
All right, let's talk about Caleb. By the way, the Hooters winging it. Caleb Williams, 21 of 29, 148 yards, a touchdown, 3 carries for 10. Season, he turned out to be 62.5% completion, 3,541 yards, 20 TDs, 6 picks, and north of 400 yards rushing. He's the first Bears quarterback in the franchise's history to have over 4,000 total yards, 20 or more TDs, and 6 or less picks. Go to your local Hooters and make sure you order your wings at Hooters for your Super Bowl party.
Can I give you some more sobering statistics that aren't just quarterback-centric?
Yes.
This team finished dead last in the league in yards per game. They finished dead last in yards per play. They finished 28th in points per game. They finished 31st in third down conversions. They finished 32nd in sacks allowed. You have invested a first pick overall on your quarterback. You invested the 9th pick of the draft on Roma Dunze. You gave DJ Moore $23 million a year. You sent a 4th-round pick to the Chargers for Keenan Allen. You signed DeAndre Swift to an $8 million a year contract. Like, you've invested. Cole Kmet got a $12 million a year contract extension. You've invested so many resources into this offense, and you don't have anything to show for it. Like, so Caleb has done some really nice things. His inaccuracy in a lot of moments was eye-popping to me. 62.5%, especially for the number of wide receiver screens that they throw, isn't good enough. It ranked 28th in terms of completion percentage with quarterbacks who played at least 10 games this year. In this game, in this age, you got to complete 67% of your passes, especially with the layups that you're taking every single game. So
If I watch another wide receiver screen, I'm going to puke.
right. And this is my point, is it to complete 62.5% of your passes when a lot of the stuff that you're doing is lateral and not vertical, it's a bit concerning. So, he's got to work on getting the ball out quicker. He's got to work on his accuracy. Did some really nice things. He's going to give you 2 or 3, I can't believe what I just saw, moments in every game. And I haven't lost faith in him, but he needs to get better, and they need to coach him better. So.
Well, I think that's what we're trying to figure out. Who's going to be doing the coaching? Who's going to be coaching him better?
Okay, so
How is he gonna take that
Vrabel's
step?
here tomorrow.
Vrabel's not going to be here.
He's not.
He's not.
He's going to
So,
New England or Vegas.
Yes.
One of the two.
He's going to New England. Well,
Okay.
I mean, we know that.
Although Brady's in Vegas as an owner.
True.
So
And this is
Well, I
another
mean,
thing,
that-
as I
okay,
pontificate even further. Like, and I said this to anybody who would listen. You cannot not hire a coach based on a personality conflict or financial request.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care what it costs. You're a $10 billion entity.
Mm-hmm.
If you identify Ben Johnson or Mike Vrabel and they want $15 million a year, and you go to George, and George says, "Whoa, I can't pay 50." That's inexcusable.
well, then you should sell the
Unacceptable.
team because you're not serious about
Right,
trying
I'm
to
just saying,
compete.
Cap. And if you bring Mike Vrabel in and you say, Mike Vrabel's our guy, and then ownership or the group that is running the team goes, well, that personality really doesn't fit, don't invite him to dinner. Have him coach your football team. So if it's a disqualifying feature because of personality or money, you've lost me. So just hire the right guy, regardless of how he makes you feel and how much he's asking. So if it's Mike Vrabel and he comes in here and he swears a little bit too much or his personality's a little rough, but he's the right guy, then hire him.
Do you have I'd like for you to have an idea of what you want your football team to look like. That's what I want. And then when that coach presents that to you, you have to know what you want to put out there as far as a product on the field. I need a disciplined football team. I don't need a team constantly messing up. So the mental part of the game, I don't want a team that's going to beat themselves. That's what I don't want. yes, we do have 18, and 18 is the guy that everybody should be focused on. I need to know who is his offensive coordinator. If it is Vrabel, I love the thought of Vrabel and a team built by him. I loved watching the Tennessee Titans play when he was a coach. I loved it. I love that type of football. I think Chicago is that type. I don't think Chicago is the greatest show on turf type of football.
He is a perfect fit for this city.
I really think so, man. I really think so. I hope they don't let him walk out of the door. But I just don't see how, like, they would have to do what he's talking about. Like, what do you want? Done. They're not doing that. It's not happening. So we're just kind of stuck into this. We're going to end up with, I don't know, Mike McCarthy probably. No, seriously, I don't think he's horrible. I mean, he's a winning coach. Don't get me wrong. He's a winning football coach. But it's just not what I want. You know, I want Vrabel. We're not getting Vrabel. I love Ben Johnson. I think
so if
the
Ben
idea
Johnson
of it,
takes, let's assume Ben Johnson goes to Jacksonville. Just picking one.
Mm-hmm. And that's where I would go, just for the record. I mean, like, and I have no idea whether or not Ben Johnson can stand in front of a room and command the room. I don't know. I don't think people knew that Kevin O'Connell could do it. I don't know if people knew Matt LaFleur could do it, or Sean McVay could do it, or Shanny could do it back in the day. I don't know that. But what I do know is, as I said earlier, you've invested a ton in your offense, and you've gotten nothing out of it. I know if Ben Johnson comes here, it's not Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy called plays for 6 games before they gave him the head coaching job. Ben Johnson's been the offensive coordinator for a top 5 offense the last 3 years.
Well, it's like Ken Wisenhunt coming in, who called plays in Pittsburgh for a top 5 offense for 3 years.
But I listen, everybody's different. I don't know
Arthur
that Ken Wisenhunt could work or couldn't work. I just know what I see in Detroit, and I know what the Bears have invested in their offense, and that's very appealing to me. Again, if you hired Mike Vrabel tomorrow, I wouldn't complain at all, because I think a lot of the stuff that Alex said resonates with me totally. I need to know what your offensive coordinator situation is going to be and what your answer is going to be, because you do have so many resources invested into your offense. I don't know what they're going to do, Cap. I really don't.
If I had one thing that I would say about Ben Johnson is, who on offense that he's helped get better? Like, if you're not, Jahmyr Gibbs is already good. You didn't do anything. Montgomery is already good. You didn't do anything. Like, Jameson Williams he put him in position to use what he does well. He's just fast, right? So he just puts him in that position. Amon-Ra St. Brown is just a good football player. Who has he helped develop? And I think that's what we've been missing here, is development of players.
Jared Goff certainly looks like a better football player
but see,
than he did in L.A.
Jared Goff was a Super Bowl quarterback already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like he helped him do. What did he help him with? Regain that? Because maybe he lost some confidence them last few years, but that's my only thing about Ben.
All right, we'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back, tell you about some specials at Hooters, and we'll continue our Bears discussion. We're at Hooters in Melrose Park. Woo. Make sure you try their wings for Super Bowl. They're the best. Be right back.
Kick off the new year in style with Feldco.
Let the experts at Feldco renew your home with 25% off Feldco windows, siding, doors, and roofing. Plus, no interest for 1 year. Choosing Feldco for your home renewal project means you'll be getting high-quality products made for the Midwestern weather, crafted right here in the U.S.
Hurry, 25% off ends soon. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Apt. For the best appliances for football season, shop at Apt. Pleasing people since 1936. Find them at apt.com. 4 Seasons, heating, plumbing, air conditioning, and electric. For all the right reasons, 4 Seasons. When you're on the tollway, peace of mind is just a call away. With the Illinois Tollway Star 999 service, help is always at your fingertips. Whether it's a flat tire or an unexpected breakdown, our dedicated team is here to assist you anytime and anywhere on the tollway. Drive with confidence knowing that Star 999 is just a dial away. Remember, Star 999, we're always there when you need us.
All right, time for our Chevy drive of the game, and it was the drive that led to the game-winning field goal. Chevy is the official truck partner of the Chicago Bears. Final drive, 6 plays, 47 yards, 54 seconds off the clock. That led us to the Special Olympics play of the game, the special teams play of the game. Cairo Santos, a 51-yard walk-off field goal as time expired. And that leads us to our apt players of the game, the kicker, Cairo Santos, and DeAndre Swift, 20 carries, 65 yards, a touchdown, a couple catches as well. That was the Bears' 24-22 victory over their arch rivals from Green Bay. Alon is back from Hooters. All right, so Alon, we've got a bunch of different food here for the football playoffs that are coming up starting this weekend. Tell us about it.
There's no better place to kick off your NFL playoffs better than Hooters. Grab your ice cold beer and dive into our world famous wings and enjoy the game with our iconic Hooters girls. We are serving up special meals all season long. We have tender tacos, and we also have the pretzel bites. And those are here for limited time, so don't miss out. And remember to pre-order your wings at order.hooters.com and get ready for the game.
Order.hooters.com.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
What's
Alon.
this right here, Alon?
Appreciate
Alon,
it. There you go.
Alon, what's this right here? Chocolate?
Is that chocolate?
Right here? Okay. All right. All right.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
There you go. Again, order your wings for Super Bowl at order.hooters.com. All right. I want to get back into what we were talking about. So Vrabel's here tomorrow. Ben Johnson's going to interview Friday or Saturday virtually. Aaron Glenn, the DC in Detroit, is going to interview. He gives me Lovie Smith-type vibes. Was a really good player for the Jets and the Saints. Played 3 or 4 different places. The Saints have requested an interview. The Jaguars' job is open. They've requested an interview. So who would you, Tommy Waddle, hire? If I told you, Ben Johnson's off the board, he took Jacksonville. Vrabel's off the board, he's in New England.
Oh, man.
What would you do?
Cry.
Sob loudly.
Gosh.
At that point, I'm look again. It's not my job to find these guys. It's what they get paid handsomely up at Hallis Hall to do.
Well, they did not engender a lot of confidence today.
I get it.
I thought it was a
but,
train
but,
wreck.
But did you think Kevin O'Connell was going to have 2 14-win seasons in his first 3 years with the?
Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, who knew
Not
that
with
Mike
Sam Darnold.
that Matt LaFleur was going to do what he did with Green Bay? So I mean, there are guys out there. You just have to vet them. My concern isn't so much even about whether or not the Bears can find the right guy. My concern is whether or not those guys are going to be interested in the Bears.
That's the problem. Because if you walk into that building, you go, wait a minute. George, that's the guy. Kevin, I got to report to him. Ryan, who's only got 2 years left on his deal. Hang on a second now. You guys are a train wreck around here. I'm not taking that.
To Alex's point, like Mike Vrabel is going to, we all think, probably choose either the Patriots
Or the
Raiders.
Yep.
Well, those two teams are bigger train wrecks than ours at this point. Why would he take
Mike
those?
Vrabel won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots.
I get it, but
and
that
one
team
of his
won.
closest friends is Tom Brady, who's the part owner.
Totally get it. But my point is why in the world can't the Bears' job be a more attractive despite that?
It can be if you didn't have the people making decisions that are making them.
Yes, I totally understand that.
They literally had Bruce Arians in the building, and they went, "Yeah, we'll take Mark Trestman."
It's a decade ago, though. We gotta move past that, though.
They had Dan Quinn. Ryan
we
Pace
did.
says, "I want Dan Quinn." Nope, we're making you hire John Fox. Dan Quinn comes around a second time. They fly him here in a middle seat in the back of the plane and coach. And he's like, okay, this place sucks. And now he's going to be maybe coach of the year with Washington.
Probably. Now, I think what you said earlier is indicative of just how people are, the world we live in today. We're talking about one of 32 jobs. you should be clamoring for it because that is what you're trying to
And
get
it's
to.
a charter franchise.
You should that is what you're trying to get to. There shouldn't be. Yes, I mean, you got to make the job appealing to the coaches and attractive, but to sit here and think like I want a head coaching job, and I'm gonna say no to one of 32 of the jobs. It's not. There's only 4 of them available, let's say, or 6 of them available, and I'm saying no to them. Like that's crazy to me.
And
Like
by
take
the
the
way-
opportunity and let's go.
Yeah, and by the way, you had the first pick of the draft last year. You have 3, what would it be, top 40 picks this year. You have as much cash as you need to spend. Like, you have a full complement of everything. So you would think that this would be a really, really attractive job in the ability. Now, the one thing is you play in the most difficult division, the hardest division in football. That may or may not play into the minds of the
got a good
decisions of
punter.
guys.
No, you don't. You actually don't. You have a middle-of-the-road punter.
Yeah.
That's what you have.
He finished middle of the
He's got a
pack.
franchise record this year.
Oh, okay.
For what?
Net punting yards.
He was middle of the pack in net
In the
punting.
NFL, middle of the pack.
He was
Number
17th
one
or
in the
18th.
history of the Bears.
I'd cut him tomorrow
Well, you would not.
and pick up somebody so y'all stop talking about him. Somebody that would do exactly what he's doing.
Cap, let me ask you a question.
He's not like
because their offense sucks so bad this year, he had more punting yards than Caleb had passing yards.
That's correct.
Does that make him a great punter, or are you just a product of your shitty environment?
You're a product of your shitty environment.
right.
There
And
it
I
is.
think
He's got a strong leg.
which is fine.
Wow.
he's fine. He's okay.
He's fine, yes.
He's fine. Like he's fine.
He'll have a nice career in the NFL for sure.
Can you fix your broken offensive line in one off season?
The
And it
the
does
Commanders
not start
did.
with the name Karan Amagaji.
The-
Oh, God.
The Commanders did.
But we knew that. We knew that.
Hold on.
We were a real left tackle.
I got to ask you this. They draft Karan Amagaji. He misses 3/4 of last season. He doesn't have training camp. They finally get him up to speed. They start him at left tackle on Monday Night Football. He nearly gets Caleb killed. He does not dress the next week. What are we doing?
I mean, you wanted to put him back out there?
Then why was he starting on Monday Night Football?
Well, I don't know. We need to see what you got. Okay, we saw it. Back on up.
You're out.
Like, we saw it. No, he ain't ready for that.
No.
He ain't ready for that. So we need a real left
Kevin
tackle.
Jenkins, what did
We
he
need a real
start?
left
Well,
tackle.
38 of 60 games?
but I thought all this team needed was to be coached harder and be held accountable.
We do need talent. We need talent. We need a left tackle. I think that would help a lot. It would really, a guy that can sit on an island by himself and I don't need help. I can block this guy. Not what PFF says, but a real left tackle. I don't care what PFF says. PFF told me that Braxton was a top, 12 tackle last year. Get out of here.
All right, fans are asking about Pete Carroll. He's 73. He's a culture guy. He's a successful coach. He'll probably be in the Hall of Fame at some point, as well as David Shaw, who's going to interview with the Bears, the former Stanford coach.
I'm okay with Shaw. Honestly, I don't. Pete Carroll's, I mean, he's gonna, the respect I think will be there if he's in the building. The respect is there. It's all gonna come down to what are the owners gonna allow him to do? What decisions are they gonna allow him to make without getting in the way? And I think that's gonna be the question for me with any coach they hire. Are you gonna allow them to do their job? Because I don't know who the hell in that building is actually doing their job when you have to come out and say, this is my job. We know what a general manager does. So apparently you haven't been doing that, or they've told you something different.
Tommy, what would you do?
Well, I would bring Pete in, and you know, Pete's not tied to anybody right now. I think he's got some sort of consulting situation, or did with the Seahawks. I'd sit him down and ask him over the course of 5 or 6 hours, Pete, and because he's a football lifer, I'd say evaluate our franchise. What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? I'm not sure I'd hire
Everything.
Pete, but I would get his football intel, and I would ask him. Like, I mean, listen, you're a baseball guy. What would Theo tell you? Bring in everybody. Ask him every question about your franchise.
did that.
He did do that. And whether or not you're interested in hiring the guy, you should be interested in somebody. He's won 2 national titles, right? He's won a Super Bowl. He's been to another Super Bowl. Like, Pete's accomplished a ton. I would definitely sit down and talk with Pete and have him evaluate my entire franchise and give me some, some cold hard facts about why we haven't been more successful. Doesn't mean I'm going to hire him. Pete's 73 years old, right? And I'm sure he's a young 73. But again, not to be an ageist, but I want to hire somebody that can be the head coach of my football team for the next 10 years. Pete ain't going to be running up and down the sidelines at 83. He's just not. So maybe I'm an asshole for suggesting that he's a little bit too old to be the long-term answer. For 3 years, how could you? I mean, you could do a hell of a lot worse than Pete, but I just don't think he's your long-term answer.
Maybe not 10 years, but hell, what's the last coach we had that was here for 10 years?
That's a good
3
point.
years, 4 years, and gone.
How long was
So
Lovey
give
here?
me 4 years. Levy was here, not 10. So he got here in 2004, 2013, I think he left, right? 12, so he was there in 9 years. Like, so I'm not looking at 10 years either. I'm looking at 3-4 years. Can he change the culture of what's going on here right now? And yes, I love bring him in, sit down and figure out what the hell we're doing wrong. But first, we have to accept that we're doing something wrong. Like, we have to accept that we're doing something wrong.
Cap, did you like Shane Waldron?
No.
That was Pete's last offensive coordinator. So I need to know what Pete, what did you see in Shane that led you to be the, hire him as the OC? What would you do going forward? Because Pete's a defensive guy. What would you do at the offensive coordinator position?
Would you trade for a coach out there not named Kyle Shanahan? Like, if Mike Tomlin gets knocked out this weekend and the Steelers said, all right, let's make a deal, would you do it?
What do I have to trade? And again, I say this, it really is funny because if I'll give you a coach A and a coach B comparison. If you took Mike McCarthy's resume and put it over here and you put Mike Tomlin's resume here, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the two.
Mike McCarthy actually is a click ahead.
Correct. Now, the personality of Mike Tomlin is more attractive to me than Mike McCarthy. Mike Tomlin brings more juice into your building. What am I going to have to give up for it? Because I may be able to get Mike McCarthy for nothing. Probably not.
Would you do that?
It's a wrap. Mike Tomlin, welcome. Welcome to Chicago. What? Gone. Done. If we're really talking about, you shouldn't worry about your $1 your $10 billion organization, your this, your that. Don't worry about, get it fixed. And all it takes is twos to get Mike Tomlin here. Mike McCarthy, you put them numbers up if you want to. Mike McCarthy is not Mike Tomlin. He's not. I'm damn what the numbers say. They're not the same people when the players see him in the locker room. They're not the same. It's
He
not.
has cachet walking in. There's
You know
no
what?
doubt.
You want 2-2? I'm gonna throw in this 5th rounder. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
He's got plenty of cachet. He hasn't won a playoff game since 2016.
That is okay. He is getting there. You cannot win the Super Bowl without getting to the playoffs. We ain't even been to the damn playoffs since 2018.
Mike McCarthy had 3 straight 12-5 seasons where they got to the postseason and they were one and done 2 out of the 3
and
times.
Mike McCarthy had a Pro Bowl quarterback, had an All-Pro receiver, maybe 2
All-Pro D end.
They had a running back that was all-world.
True. Where is that? Where is the solution on offense from the Steelers? Again, I would take him. I'm just saying I don't think it's.
He hasn't had a quarterback since Big Ben retired.
Well, go find one.
Well, that's not his job. That's the GM's job.
You don't think Mike's voice is loud in the building?
I would think it's
loud,
loud, but
yeah.
who have they had? Mason Rudolph,
But he's
Mitchell
still.
Trubisky.
But it
his
doesn't
guy.
matter. He's still winning.
Your
Like
guy,
whatever you
Mitch.
stop. Don't do that. Do not do that. Mitch actually started this week, didn't he? Oh
And
my
they lost.
gosh.
Yes.
They
They lost.
Yes. No, man, we need that. We need a person like that. If we get Mike McCarthy, like, I'm not saying he's not a good coach or haven't been a good coach over his career.
But there's no juice about it.
It's like, gosh, man, it feels the same.
First of all, Mike Tomlin's got a no-trade clause in his contract. You can't trade him. unless he and the team would come to terms and they would say, okay, we're going to waive this. But it's in his contract. He can't be traded to another team because the team values him. I think he's a great coach.
He's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere.
Class guy, man. We put a potential head coach in a middle seat. He
Yeah.
probably just, if he heard about that story, he'd probably say no. He'd just be like, nah, I'm good. Shoot. Man. Wow.
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It is literally a nightmare.
I came here for like support and
To get uplifted.
yeah, y'all are killing me right now. What
Do
is
you want us
happening?
to sell you some false dreams and hope?
Lord,
So,
something like
do
some
you
type.
do
We
you
just
do-
beat the Packers.
Do you do New Year's resolutions?
Yes.
What was your New Year's resolution this year? Grow that beard?
Yes, I'm gonna grow this beard. I'm gonna grow this right here out. Uh-huh.
I can help you a little bit. Tommy, what was yours?
Not to watch Bears football for the foreseeable future.
Well, you ain't gotta worry about that.
So my wife made me have a New Year's resolution that I will not just blindly at the start of seasons predict greatness for our teams when they haven't earned the right.
Good
to
luck
do
with that, Mindy. Good
Why?
luck with that.
Why? Then you're gonna miss half the
He's the
season.
eternal. You're the eternal optimist, which makes you who you are.
Dive in, man.
Yeah.
Dive in.
Because I sold people a bill of goods that this would be a good football team. I did.
Listen,
This
I
year? I mean, who said if they win 11 games next year, are they still the same football team? Like
are they winning 11 games next
No,
year?
no. I'm just saying. Like, I'm just saying.
Are they playing in the XFL in the offseason?
Right.
Like, really?
They got no shot.
Well, it's a done deal now. You already made the resolution, so
Right.
I don't want to hear you talking about nothing before the season.
And she will hold me to it.
Yes.
But I look at where it's at now. I am at my lowest point as a Bears fan because I truly think they're the worst organization, not in the NFL. They're the worst organization in American professional sports.
Oh, you stop it. We're in Chicago.
I don't care. I'm talking about how it's run.
Time
They
out.
are
Time out. The
worst-
White Sox just won 41 games.
What?
There. They're right there.
Come on.
Now, with that said, I believe their winning percentage is comparable to the Bears over the course of the last 3 years.
The White Sox winning percentage is just ahead of Eberflus.
Right.
You know what's so bad about this is I love both of those teams.
Right.
Damn.
Come on over to the Cubbies.
No, I ain't doing that.
We're going to be really good this year.
I ain't doing that.
No, there you go again.
I ain't
There you
doing
go
that.
again.
There
You're
you
just
go.
setting yourself up for disappointment. Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Y'all north side, y'all can keep that.
Yeah.
I said that kiddingly. They haven't
No,
heard-
you didn't. No, you did not.
About what? May 1st, you're gonna be off the bandwagon.
How safe should Ryan Poles be?
Well,
Nobody
he's.
should be safe.
I mean, he's safe. I mean, he's their general manager.
But if you owned the team, would you fire him?
If I owned the team, I'd clean the whole situation out. But that's not usually realistic.
Okay. What do you think about Jay or John Gruden for the Bears? Jay, no. He was a failure as a head coach.
John Gruden hasn't had a winning season, and I love John on Barstool, but John coming back after a huge hiatus with the Raiders didn't have a winning season. He hadn't had a winning season, I think, since 2000.
He was 3-2 when he got fired.
Okay, that's not
And
a
the year
season.
before, I don't remember. What
5
his
games
record
is not a
was.
season.
What was his record, Guff?
I don't believe he had a winning season.
I wouldn't do that. I'm bringing in everybody. If I'm looking for a coach, I'm bringing in everybody. I have something in mind that I want my team built like. I want to bring people in. Bill Belichick wasn't very good before he got to New England and he got Tom Brady.
Right, he was terrible in Cleveland.
They took the team from him.
So Gruden was 8-8, 3-2, fired.
That's what I said.
Well, yeah, and coach. I mean, that's fine. Listen,
Okay.
people learn.
Here's another question for you from our fine patrons here at Hooters in Melrose Park. Help us understand the problems with the Bears front office culture a bit more. How specifically does the team ownership and leadership undermine the ability of the next coach to be successful? Tommy.
I don't know that they undermine the coach and their ability to be successful. I mean, you got to pick the right people. You know, I mean, Was Eberflus undermined, or was Eberflus just not the right guy for the job?
He was incompetent
right
for that job.
I mean, I don't know that. I think you undermine guys by allowing them. Like, I go back in time to the Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy situation where you empowered them to trade up and draft a quarterback knowing they were on the hot seat. So at that point, then they're not really doing what's best for the organization. They're doing what's best for them.
Well, it's like keeping John Fox and hiring signing Mitchell Trubisky.
Correct.
Why
So
would you not get a new offensive mind? Help
Yeah.
me go through these quarterbacks and let's
Right.
see who we should get. And maybe you would have drafted.
I think it's more about
Patrick
Cap
Mahomes.
hiring the right guy.
But
No.
I believe Patrick Mahomes would be a dope with a B on his hat if we had drafted.
I think Patrick Mahomes
He's
would
been
be
good
Yeah.
because he's that good. He would not be what he is.
But you just called him a dope with a B on his head, and I don't think he'd be that.
Anybody that comes here is a dope with a B on their head.
Well, damn.
We were here. Are we dope?
I'm talking about now.
Oh my gosh.
I'm being honest.
I'm right here. Right here.
I'm not talking about when you guys went to the Super Bowl.
Time out. You just read me a bunch of stats that you got hot and bothered by or about with regard to Caleb. So you're excited about Caleb's rookie year and the statistics he put up, right?
I'm disappointed in things I hear from people in that room that his work ethic needs to greatly improve.
True, but you read a bunch of stats and you said in the process of reading those stats, the first time a Bears quarterback has ever done this.
Yeah, 4,000 combined yards.
I think Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Caleb
No
Williams.
question.
So if Caleb Williams or Patrick Mahomes was here, then I just think A plus B equals C.
But
that
he
he'd
would
be
never
better.
have developed under
You
the
didn't
morons
say
in
that.
this organization.
You didn't. You said he'd be a
dope with a B
dope
on
with
his hat.
and I think that he's too good a player to be considered a dope with a B.
Well, I don't think when he gets to Kansas City, we don't have Travis Kelce. We
Tyreek
do
Hill.
not have
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. We don't have these
Alex
weapons
Smith
that he
to
used.
mentor him.
Correct. We didn't have that. So I think he'd be a completely different player.
And Andy Reid.
But he'd still be a talented player. Being a talented player, we had a talented player here for a while in Jay Cutler.
Yeah, that's
a
true.
very, very talented player. That doesn't get it done. It's not just talent. Somebody has to teach you how to be a professional. You said you didn't like what you heard about Caleb Williams.
About his work ethic.
About his work. Well, he has to learn how to be a professional. He's not a professional. He doesn't understand. Who the hell in the building is teaching him how to be a professional? That is like, these are Ted Washington. My locker was right beside Ted Washington. So I learned how to be a professional. Philip
He was a
Daniels
pro.
is right next to him.
Pros.
Right. Like somebody has to teach you how to do this, because I'm coming from college. Everybody in college, they're that dude. And then when you get there, you realize, yeah, there's a whole bunch of dudes in here. Like, all right, what do I do now? Like, how do I continue to become a better player? Somebody has to teach you that. And if nobody's teaching them that, then well, that's a problem.
I think it's great that Alex just mentioned, he didn't mention coaches, he mentioned players.
Yes.
So you look at this current team, everyone wants to get it from the coach. How about getting it from the players?
Yep.
How about having a Philip Daniels or a Ted Washington? Where are the Philip Daniels and the Ted Washingtons in that locker room?
That's it.
That's where
DJ Moore walking off the damn football field
Yeah.
in the middle of a play. He's your guy. Like, this isn't Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze, this is his first year here.
right.
Keenan Allen, this is his first year here. You know what I mean? DJ Moore has been here for a little bit, okay? You pay him the money, and now all of a sudden he has issues. Like, you can't have issues. Like, you're the stone, you're the building block for this young quarterback coming in, the one that he should be leaning on, and you're not that guy, because now you're not receiving 15 targets a game. You're only receiving 8. Who cares? I don't want to win.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to win. I don't give a damn if you're only getting 3. Make the most of them 3. How about that?
And guess what happened when Ted Washington and Philip Daniels were gone? Alex took over that role inside that locker room for the younger players.
Yep.
And that's how it goes. And that just doesn't exist in there. I'm not in there, but my guess is that doesn't exist in there
I'm with
based
you.
on what they're saying coming out of there.
Yep.
By the way, our Dr. Pepper play of the game, Cairo Santos,
Oh.
51 yards to Oh, no, sorry. I picked a different play.
You
sorry.
and these kickers,
Was it
man,
a punt?
I tell you,
Was it a punt during the game?
hardwired
You
for
picked a
kickers.
punt?
It was the
Third down?
18-yard completion
On
to
third down.
DJ Moore
Yeah.
that allowed them to spike the ball to set up the field goal. That is the
Because without the
play of
19-yard
the game.
game, there's no way Kairos was lining up from
No.
55
No
or
chance.
56.
No chance.
No. But I interviewed him yesterday, and he said, look, I can make 60-yard field goals. He goes, you try kicking a leaded ball in 4-degree weather in Green Bay, Chicago.
Brandon McManus did it.
Yeah, he made a 55-yarder.
Yeah.
I never heard any of this from Robbie Gold. Never. Just kick the damn ball. That's it. Just kick the ball. Do your job. That's your job. I've been out here fighting for 59 minutes and 38 seconds. Can you kick this ball through the upright so we can go home? Yes. I don't care about all that other stuff. The ball's hard.
Who
Man,
was the
shut
kicker
up.
for Cincinnati that just missed a key kick? They ended up coming back to win in overtime. He missed it from like 28 yards.
Yeah, he was
And
a
Joe
kid that
Burrow's
they-
walking up there, he goes, just do your job.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Do your job, man.
Yeah, of course.
Out here getting body slammed for 2 hours and you can't make a kick? I don't like kickers, man. I don't. I don't like them.
Yurko over here. Last one. Who do you think the coordinator should be if we hired Vrabel or Ben Johnson? Who the coordinators offensively, if Ben Johnson's here, is kind of irrelevant. Maybe it'll be Antoine Randall. I don't know.
This is what I would do if you got Ben Johnson. I'd try to draw Hank Fraley, their offensive line coach, and bring him here because obviously he's got a lot to work with, but he knows he's a former player. You probably played against him.
Yep.
Bring him here and make him your OC because you have to bring him here. You would have to give him
A title.
Give him a bump.
a bump. And he's not going to be your play caller because that's going to be Ben. But you bring him in here to handle your offensive line, and I think you get better in a couple of spots. So that's what I would do. I would try to bring Ben Johnson here and see if he could bring Hank Fraley with him.
Also, a shout out to the Park Ridge Jiffy Lube, who has a bunch of guys here tonight.
Woo!
So,
Woo!
shout out to Jiffy Lube. Absolutely, 100%. All right, before I let you go, pick an AFC title winner, NFC title winner, and a Super Bowl winner.
Oh, wow.
You go first.
Okay, all right. I am taking Kansas City and Detroit. I think Detroit wins the Super Bowl.
Listen, I know that Buffalo's a sexy pick, but I'll ride with Patrick Mahomes until we run out of gas. So I'm going to stick with him. And I would probably say Detroit this year as well. So I would say Kansas City over Detroit.
Yeah,
I think ultimately Detroit's defensive issues with all of their injuries will get them. But
my beautiful wife and I just got tickets to the AFC title game if it's at Arrowhead.
Oh, it's going to be at Arrowhead.
And they have the home field. So if they're alive, we're going to the AFC title game for the second time. We were there when they beat Joe Burrow and the Bengals, and it was 4 billion degrees below zero, but it was a lot of fun.
I remember
that is an amazing environment.
Well, there's no doubt that they wanted the Broncos to get in, which would have canceled out the Bengals, which it did, because I don't think Kansas City wanted to see the Bengals in the postseason.
Correct. So they were down 38 to nothing.
Yeah.
Well, see, I hear everybody over there talking about, and I've sat home and I've thought about this. As far as Lamar Jackson and what he's doing in the regular season, winning MVPs, I think he should win the MVP this year, and what Peyton Manning did during that time. And Tom Brady wasn't winning any of that. He was just winning the damn
Winning
Super
games.
Bowls. That's all he was doing.
It's hard to not vote Lamar.
No, it's not, it's dumb not to vote Lamar.
Josh Allen's had a great year. And
I don't
so
care
has
about
Burrow.
great. He's not the MVP. Like, Lamar Jackson has been the MVP of the league. It's crazy.
Bill Polian said he's a running back. Remember?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
No, said he was a wide receiver.
Oh, a wide receiver.
Yeah, said he would be a wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, okay.
That's what Bill Polian said.
That one didn't end well for him.
I don't think they'll get to the top of the mountain this year, but it won't be because of him. I think their defense is just, I don't know that they're good enough.
They've been playing a lot
They've been better.
They've been
Baltimore?
better. They've been better, yeah.
Baltimore.
They've been better since that safety they got over there from Notre Dame.
Hamilton,
God dang, man.
fantastic player.
Wow, he is.
And
he's
Zay
good.
Flowers is banged up now. Didn't practice today.
Yep, Zay's hurt. I don't know if they have the receivers to. If you get in a shootout, I don't know if Lamar can do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can do it. Making those throws.
I'll ride with Patrick Mahomes.
I'm going with Patrick but Detroit is going to win.
I love their coach.
They're
Dan
gonna win
Campbell. I'm a huge Dan Campbell guy. He'd be huge in this town. Huge.
No, he won't be anymore.
Especially if he was winning 15 games a year.
Yeah. No question about it.
That helps.
Yes,
All right, that puts a wrap on our final Feldco Football Recap Live of the season. Thank you to the great people at Hooters. Thank you to everyone from Feldco and all of our great sponsors all year long. Thank you to Tom Waddle, Alex Brown, Olin Kreutz, our great crew. Thank you for watching and listening all year long. We have off-season football coverage coming with regular Bears recaps, so stay locked in on our Recap YouTube channel. For everybody here, have a great night. Take that.
Kick off the new year in style with Feldco.
Let the experts at Feldco renew your home with 25% off Feldco windows, siding, doors, and roofing. Plus, no interest for 1 year. Choosing Feldco for your home renewal project means you'll be getting high-quality products made for the Midwestern weather, crafted right here in the U.S.
Hurry, 25% off ends soon. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Feldco Football Recap Live is brought to you by Feldco. For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866-4FELDCO, Chicago's home renewal experts. Your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers, the official truck partner of the Chicago Bears. Hooters. At Hooters, originality isn't just one thing, it's everything. World-famous wings and more, served up by the iconic Hooters girl. Hooters, always original. Dr. Pepper, an American original, just like our Chicago Bears. Grab an ice-cold, refreshing Dr. Pepper today at a McDonald's near you. Special Olympics Illinois. Special Olympics Illinois, so I did. Learn more at SOILL.org. Apt. For the best appliances for football season, shop at Apt. Pleasing people since 1936. Find them at apt.com. Four Seasons, heating, plumbing, air conditioning, and electric. For all the right reasons, Four Seasons. When you're on the tollway, peace of mind is just a call away. With the Illinois Tollway Star 999 service, help is always at your fingertips. Whether it's a flat tire or an unexpected breakdown, our dedicated team is here to assist you anytime and anywhere on the tollway. Drive with confidence knowing that Star 999 is just a dial away. Remember, Star 999, we're always there when you need us.
You got the new house, and the space is a little tight. And with LG's Counter Depth Max with zero clearance, you'll get the ultimate built-in look. You can install it in tight spaces and still fully open the doors and not have to worry about hitting the wall. The LG Counter Depth Max refrigerator with zero clearance. Max out your space, max out your style. To see the full line of LG products, shop at Apt, pleasing people since 1936.